And Americans, we are back. Tonight we're having a show called World Reality with Richard G Medlock, and I'm going to let him take it and get run with it right now.
Thank you, Tucklow. It is April 7th, 2015, and yes, my eyes are wide open. And if yours aren't wide open, we're going to get them wide open tonight. What's been going on the last 2 weeks in America should have everybody greatly disturbed, and we're probably going to disturb you a little bit more tonight. We are here to educate, entertain, enlighten, and empower. And tonight is going to be right down the lines of educate and empower, and probably a whole lot of enlighten too. We're going to give you information that's not on the mainstream media, information the mainstream media buries. They don't want anybody to know the truth. And also, ladies and gentlemen, the warning goes out that we are the most politically incorrect program anywhere because we tell the truth. And we stand on the truth, and we will live by the truth, and that's what this is all about. But before we get going, and Tucklow, I again appreciate you and your support. A little I guess, disclaimer, what is said on this program are my views. They're not anybody else's views. I mean, if you agree with me, that's great. If not, but these are my views. And also, this is a Ghost Shield Entertainment Group, LLC production. We've got to give credit where credit is due. Now, we are under attack, folks. We're really under attack. But I want to recognize some people tonight. But first, we have lost some people over the weekend and yesterday in the entertainment world. Robert Burns Jr. passed away in an auto accident in Georgia Saturday night, or was it Friday night? Do you know who that is, Tucklow?
Surely do not.
He's the drummer for Leonard Skinner.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about Bobby. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Bobby. Killed in an automobile accident. He apparently missed a curve and hit a tree. And that's normally in the South what you do, because there's nothing but trees off the road. So he was killed at age 64. But he was a member of Leonard Skinner. And that group, the Leonard Skinner is spelled kind of funny. It's with Y's. But that was the name of their gym teacher in high school. So they named their group after him as an honor to him. He was an inspiration to them. Next, James Best passed away at the age of 88.
Yeah, I do know him personally.
This guy was a character. And he played some really interesting characters. Coltrane, what was his first name? From
Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard. I've been talking about this all afternoon. Roscoe B. Coltrane. He was a delight to watch in these things. A lot of people think, oh, he's just a doofy old guy. It takes talent to do what he did. And then, of course, he was known for Jim Lindsay on the Andy Griffith Show, the guitar-playing musician. So we've lost him at age 88.
He was also a superb martial artist.
Really?
He was a multiple black belt in Taekwondo and regular karate.
Well, super duper. You know these people, and it's interesting to hear these little stories about them, what they do on the side and do with their lives. Now, a happy birthday wish goes out to Doris Day. Sunday, she turned 91, and she still looks good. She, movies in the 50s, 60s, and early 70s. Rock Hudson, Jimmy Stewart. She did one with Jimmy Stewart, I think one, and then James Gardner. The just really wonderful family movies that you could sit down and watch with anybody with 3-year-olds and not have to worry about anything. She's still alive and well, and glad to have her around. Of course, she's out of the limelight. She owns I think it's a bed and breakfast somewhere in Northern California, something like that. Her and her son, and they're just happy as can be. There are 6 other people that we want to get their names out there. And it was interesting when I saw this, and I posted it on my Facebook page. And ladies and gentlemen, you can find me on Facebook, and you can send me all the requests you want. But right now, I have who I want to have on my Facebook, and it is way less than 200 people. So don't send me a request. Now, you can go to my Twitter site, twitter.com/MoneyTalkUSA, and join me there. And also my website, www.richardmedlock.org. And that's where you're going to find a couple articles that I'm going to basically read tonight. There's no way to break it down. One of them was written by me. I said Thursday night I was going to put an article about Obama. I wrote the article. It got posted yesterday, and it's had a lot of hits. And I've had requests from people to please read it on the program tonight. And also, I appreciate the support from people tuning into YouTube and watching the program on YouTube. And also, I'm picking up subscribers there. That means I'm in their list, and I do appreciate that. So the rooster is coughing. If you wonder why the rooster picture keeps popping up, but anyway. A few weeks ago, we talked about this on the show, basically briefly, in the context of things going on. But at University of California, Irvine, a student council voted that the American flag could not be flown on school grounds or student area or whatever it was. Here are their names, folks. And when I posted this, I said, let's make these people famous. And somebody came back. I don't know if I have the. Yeah, I do. They call it. I'm not going to worry about that. But somebody goes, oh, let's not make them famous. And I said, oh yeah, I want their names known so when they go to a job interview, 3 dots. All right. So here are their names. Matthew Guevara, Kaladi Sydney, Nadi Rico, John Salazar, Matthew Say, that's T-S-A-I, and Nagar Fatahi. Now those are real good American names, aren't they? There's I don't know if they're American citizens or not, or the illegal aliens, or just students here on visa or whatever. But this council, pardon me?
Of the 6, 5 of them are Muslim. They're here on a school visa. And when you go to school in America and you're a foreign national, you have to agree to do certain things, one of which is you have to respect our customs, legal customs, like saluting the flag, being respectful toward the uniform of armed service members, and you have to agree to obey all laws, local, state, and federal. They broke laws. That's why they're having problems right now at University of California, Irvine.
Well, and that's why I'm putting their names out there. They don't deserve, they should have their visas pulled. But we know in this administration, that's not going to happen.
Richard, I will be right back. I have to step out and take a plate to the kitchen, as weird as that sounds. Keep
Okay.
the show going.
I keep telling you, this rooster is the biggest eating rooster that you'll ever know. So, but again, they're named Matthew Guevara, Kaladi Sidney, Nadi, Rico, John Salazar, Matthew Say, and Nagar Fatada. I'm sorry. Okay. And again, I'm looking over at my other screen. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing some things happen in America that we shouldn't be seeing happen. And I ran into a good friend of mine out running around today, and he and I always just sit down and talk about what's going on. He's conservative, and he believes in America. He honors the flag and is as disturbed as anybody about the status of America at this point. And he asked me the question. He said, we're losing the battles out there, aren't we? We're not winning the war, are we? And I said, the answer to that is yes. We're losing the battles. We're really not making a lot of headway. Last year, I thought we were making some headway. This year, we're going backwards. And I'm going to lay some of that out here tonight to let you know why we're going backwards. But first, I have to start off. Let me start off with our beloved leader. At the Easter breakfast this morning in D.C., Obama stands up and bashes Christians again. Let me find the exact quote. I had it right here. He says, Obama said Christians are supposed to love all their neighbors, but that he sometimes hears less than loving expressions by Christians. So he's saying Christians have hate in their heart, and they criticize me, and there's no love in their criticism of me. Well, there's not. I can't say there's not love in how we criticize him, but there's concern. And we know the scriptures tell us, love everyone, but don't love the sin. Now that's going to come to play as we bring this all out tonight, because we're focusing tonight basically on Iran and basically on religious freedom. Because those are the two things that are getting hounded right now, and we're starting to see the discussion on Iran push the discussion on religious freedom into the background. Well, I'm not going to let that happen tonight. I'm going to bring this back to the forefront and let you know that this is one of the things last week where we lost big time. And it's not the fact that we lost, we surrendered. We surrendered. Now, I want to go back to Ronald Reagan. And you guys said, oh, here he goes, Ronald Reagan again. Ronald Reagan was right in everything he did. And one of the things he was right about, and I didn't talk about this last week, about the Iranian things, and people, a few days before they ended, people were saying, we need to just get up and walk away from the table. Oh, we can't do that. No, it'll put us back. Da, 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 da. That's exactly what Ronald Reagan did to the Russians in Vlad when they were discussing the nuclear armament thing. And he finally looked them right in the face and says, you guys are not serious about negotiating this, and since you're not serious and we are, we're out of here. And call us when you get serious. And Reagan and his entourage got up and walked out the door. went out the front door, got in their vehicles, and went to the airport and left. And guess what happened after that? Russia was calling him and saying, well, you know, come on back. We understand we need to get this worked out. And that's what happened. It is break time. I can hear that little birdie floating around my head up here. And we will be right back after this break. We're just warming up, folks. Take it away, Tucklow.
You know, it's getting pretty rough out there. You've got major earthquakes taking place all over the globe. You got volcanoes going off. You got people shooting each other all over the place. And I mean just people. I'm not even talking about all the wars and rumors of wars going on right now. We're in the last days, evidently. Well, I think so. And you, if you are a Bible-believing Christian and you read your Bible and you make your church attendance and you really do believe the words in that Bible are true, you're probably thinking the same thing. Let me tell you something. There's a handy little reference book. Actually, it's not little. It's a big book written by J.E. Pletcher, Jerry Pletcher, who's a very good friend of mine. And you can purchase that book through Barnes & Noble, Amazon, any number. Go to Amazon.com and type in Armageddon hidden in plain sight, or just type in the initials J.E. and the last name Pletcher, P as in Paul, L-E-T-C-H-E-R. Now, this book is the definitive book on for the last days. It talks about the War of Armageddon. It talks about everything you can think of thrown together in a way that is easy to understand. Everything that Jerry wrote in that book is backed up with the scripture. You can sit down with your Bible to one side and double check it, but the scriptures are there. He made sure they were entered, and his opinions are there. And folks, his opinions mean a lot to me because I know the man personally, and he's a no-nonsense Bible student. He made the statement to me one time. He went his whole life trying to find the book that he had to end up writing himself. And I believe it. It's a great book. It's a great reference book. And you can get your copy from Amazon.com, or if you go to a Barnes & Noble store or any other bookstore, they can order it for you. You can also go to our website, adventuresintothestrange.webs.com, and there will be a link for the publishing company there, South Mountain. So there will be a link for the book itself. I'll tell you what. If you're listening to God Talk tonight, which is our program that's going on right now, and you're curious about this book, do yourself a favor and get you a copy of it. My name's Tucklow Neshoba, and I thank you for listening. And that was a commercial I did, about 3 years ago. Sorry about the disrupted audio feed, folks. Richard, the time is now yours.
Artie, I appreciate that. And you know, I've talked to Jerry. We've talked several times, and he is very sincere in his understanding and his faith, and looking at what is going on today. So, yeah, if that book's still available, I would recommend you getting it. The other night, I read from Hulu. They're doing pet shows now. And I'm not going to go over that again. You can go back and watch.
I'm going to be out of the booth for a few minutes. Go ahead with the program.
Okay. You can go back to last week's show or go to Hulu and look up these new pet shows that they're coming out with. And great entertainment. I'm going to go in there and just look at them, just see what it's like. But I came up with an idea for a business. You know, people have teas and sodas and all these things like that. But we're going to come up with, this is for pets, especially cats and dogs, iced toilet water. So we're going to bottle toilet water, get it cold, and we're going to sell it for your pets. That way you don't have to worry about leaving your toilet lid open or up so that they don't get thirsty. So keep that flavor in there for them. We will age it So it really has a good flavor to it. So anyway, more details coming on that. George Washington said, "Your love of liberty, your respect for the laws, your habits of industry, and your practice of the moral and religious obligations are the strongest claims to national and individual happiness." And I agree with that. Happiness comes from within you. All right. I don't want to get too far off the program tonight, but just throw some things out there. We might have a show where we talk about happiness for a little segment. All right, Ronald Reagan, in 1965, gave a speech at a fundraiser for Barry Goldwater. I've met Barry Goldwater. Of course, he's dead now. This was in 1971. I met Barry Goldwater when I was attending Arizona State University. I met him and Bob Hope together. Stood there, the three of us. I shook their hands and talked to them, and we had a nice little conversation. It was really interesting. And I've been a Goldwater fan. He was conservative, and he got attacked by the Republican establishment at that time. But in 1965, Ronald Reagan gave a speech, and I wish I could do the whole thing, but this is the end of the speech, the last 3 paragraphs. The speech is called "A Time for Choosing," and you can go on YouTube and watch this. And matter of fact, this segment I'm going to read, there's a segment just for a little more than the last 3 paragraphs. It's about 6 minutes in length. Now, the reason I'm not playing it is because of restrictions we have on YouTube. If we were just on the radio, we could play it. But on YouTube, we can't play sound bites, and that's why you're getting, funny advertisements and other things tonight instead of music. But anyway, this is going to what we're talking about tonight and what has been happening in America over the last little while. He says, appeasement or courage. The specter of our well-meaning liberal friends refuse to face is that their policy of accommodation is appeasement, and appeasement does not give you a choice between peace and war, only between fight and surrender. We are told that the problem is too complex for a simple answer. They are wrong. There is no easy answer, but there is a simple answer. We must have the courage to do what we know is morally right, and this policy of accommodation asks us to accept the greatest possible immorality. We are being asked to buy our safety from the threat of the bomb by selling into permanent slavery our fellow human beings enslaved behind the Iron Curtain, and we can still say Russia and the Middle East and so forth, to tell them to give up their hope of freedom because we are ready to make a deal with their slave masters. Let me finish his words, and then we'll get into what's going on today and apply it 100%. Going back to Ronald Reagan, Alexander Hamilton warned us that a nation which can prefer disgrace to danger is prepared for a master and deserves one. Admittedly, there is a risk in any course to follow. Choosing the high road cannot eliminate that risk. Already, some of the architects of accommodation have hinted what their decision will be if their plan fails, and we are faced with the final ultimatum. The English commentator Kenneth Tynan has put it this way: he would rather live on his knees than die on his feet. Some of our own have said, better read than dead. If we are to believe that nothing is worth the dying, when did this begin? Should Moses Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery rather than dare the wilderness? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have refused to fire the shot heard around the world? Are we to believe that all the martyrs of history died in vain? His final paragraph. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We can preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we can sentence them to take their first step into 1,000 years of darkness. If we fail, at least let our children and our children's children say of us, we justified our belief moments here, or justified our brief moments here. We did all that could be done. Ronald Reagan, 1965. Now let's apply that to what's going on today. Those words are prophetic. And we are seeing that the United States, Obama and Kerry totally gave Iran everything they wanted. Everything. And folks, it is massively pouring down rain outside, and there's thunder. I haven't seen any lightning yet because I'm looking out a window. If it gets really, really bad, folks will probably shut this down. I hate to do that, but so far it's just pouring down rain.
You're breaking up, Richard. You're breaking up real bad, and it's on your end, brother. We can do this again tomorrow night instead of my normal thing if you want to.
Well, like I said, it is just massively pouring down rain. I can barely see across the street, and it's still light here on the East Coast. So, but am I still breaking up?
Yes, you are. I think maybe we ought to just go ahead and cancel tonight because of weather. We're permitted to do that, and I can just go ahead and reschedule with you tomorrow.
Okay, let's do that, and I'm going to close out here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cut it a little bit short tonight. I'm not even sure how long we've been on the air so far. What, 35 minutes?
28 minutes.
So tomorrow night we will be back, and then we'll be back again Thursday night because we have a lot to say. And I'm going to go back, since we were breaking up, go back and start over with Reagan again and go from there. So, and it's still pouring down rain like crazy. So we hate to do this, but for protection's sake, we're going to do it. So ladies and gentlemen, God bless you and God bless America. Tucklow, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.